And we are live. Hello, lovely people. How is everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to today's live stream. By the way, I am live on both Instagram and YouTube at the same time. So have your pick. Wherever you prefer to watch me, I will be there for you. Hi Mark. Hi Junior. Hi Katyushka. Can everyone hear me okay? Everything good? Visually, technically? Sending love back to you, Aries from Philly in the USA. Aries rising, because I can see like you're Sagittarius, so I am imagining you are a Sagittarius. Andra, hi. Thank you for joining. Hi Muhammad, hi Trippin, hi Kim, hi CM, or good evening. Here it's evening. In the UK in London it's 7 in the evening. So, what can I say? It's good to have you folks, even though you're joining from all over the globe. And I know for some of you it's a bit of a hassle to join at this time. Hi Ali, hi Ioana, hello Texas Rebel. Hi Trilogy, hi Martita, Kelly, Stanley, Leah, Steph, Alessia, Janae. Thank you folks for joining. Hi Eric. We're gonna spend a couple more minutes to allow some time for people to join from wherever in the world they are. I know now it seems to be 7 on the dot. Hi Jill. Hello, Damien. It's 2 p.m. in Philly. Okay, nice. I mean, maybe it's a bit of a late lunch kind of live stream, right? Callie, Jay, Critty, SH, thank you for joining. Albany, New York, nice. Again, 7 p.m. in London, and I gotta say, the weather has been so crappy, people. For like 2 days it's raining like no one's business, and I just want to sleep throughout all of this. Out of all types of weather, and I can't believe how British this conversation is. Oh, thank you. Out of all types of weather, I do not like the rain ever, like at all. I love a good storm, but the rain, not my kind of weather. It's 11 in the evening in India. Oh my days. Jill, thank you for the super chat. I'm good. I'm actually feeling very energized despite the weather. I'm feeling very energized to be here with you guys because, as I said earlier, I've been feeling like I could take a nap throughout the entire day. So I need a bit of sunshine. That's exactly what I need. It feels like autumn in the UK. Hello, Frenchie. 2 weeks in Manchester, like October. I know. It's like, what is this country? Thank you for joining, people. Amber, it's 2 p.m. Nice. Sean, thank you for staying awake at this time. So, in case, I'm sure you guys know why we are gathered here today, what we are here to discuss today. We're going to be talking about the Mars transit through Aries for the next 6 months. And boy, do we need a bit of energy and do we need a bit of fire, because we are feeling drained. I don't know about you guys, but I felt emotionally drained after the 2 eclipses, like the one in Cancer to start with, and the one in Capricorn, the lunar eclipse in Capricorn. Like a couple of days ago, I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 11 in the evening, and I started crying all of a sudden, and I'm like, my head is like banging and exploding, and it was just a lot of mental pressure. So I don't know how you guys have been feeling, but I've been feeling, heavy, let's say. Very heavy, very drained and heavy. Going back to bed. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I think we can dive in, folks. Let's get cracking with Mars in Aries. Like, even when I start talking about it, I already feel the energy of Mars in Aries coming my way. So let me tell you how this is gonna work today. I'm gonna talk you through the theory and what's happening and the transits and the periods and the time frames to be mindful of. We're gonna discuss about what's happening collectively. So there's a lot unfolding right now in the world, as you can tell. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of endings coming through. We can already see a lot of movement on the political scene. I mean, Kanye for president, like, what the hell, 2020? Seriously? As if 2020 wasn't crazy enough. So we're going to be discussing about how this Mars going through and feel, what's the attitude of people, how we're gonna be feeling about it. And we're also going to be talking about how you're likely to feel Mars in Aries individually, based on your rising, based on your sun sign. We're going to be discussing about all of that. So please forgive me if, like, whilst I go through my notes, if I don't if I'm not able to look at your questions, if I'm not able to look at your comments, because it's quite hard to navigate between screens. And I know a lot of people will only see this as a recording. They may have not had the chance to join the live stream. So I'm gonna go through the information first, and then we'll do questions as we usually do. But I wanted to get that out of the way. J Lo, thank you so much for the super chat. By the way, folks, on YouTube, you can send me super chats to show your support for my channel, and I gotta say, it's amazing when I receive these, because I can tell that what I'm doing is like something that is of use, that is helpful to you. Okay, Mars in Aries. Dun, 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 dun. So Mars is going to spend the next 6 months in its domicile, and usually Mars only spends around 6 weeks in one sign, but now, because we're going to have a retrograde period, Mars is going to go retrograde in September, between the 9th of September and the 13th of November. Mars is going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in Aries. So the themes that are going to be kicking off at the beginning of this transit, so July, August, you're going to have to go over them once again whilst Mars is in retrograde between the 9th of September and the 13th of November. Now, Stephen Forrest, one of the astrologers that I absolutely love, and I read his books and I recommend them to all of you, in the Changing Sky, in his book, The Changing Sky, says that Mars transits are very potent triggers. They precipitate dramas implied by the slower moving planets. The slower moving planets being Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Mars transits symbolize the immediate use of will in an intentional, courageous way. It also symbolizes the effort to survive and the right tactical use of assertiveness and aggression. So that's according to Stephen Forrest. How can Mars transits backfire? Because I know everyone is kind of like scared of that. The way these transits may backfire is that we might be frozen by fear, and we might turn his ascendant. So a little bit of trivia, not that I needed to like add that in necessarily. Backfiring Mars transits might also result, apart from like self-destruction, they might also result in pointless attacks towards targets that are not able to defend themselves. So how do we use the Mars? I know, dark. I know, it's Mars, it's in Aries, it's in its own sign, and it's gonna be squaring the planets in Capricorn, so it can go in many ways, people, in many ways it can go. Now, my take on this Mars in Aries transit is, for the next 6 months, is to respond decisively to pressure. We will need to find solutions, and we will need to act now. We're gonna get angry. A lot of people are gonna get angry. We're gonna see this at both an individual and a societal level. Now the question is, what are you gonna do about it? You can channel the fire, because Mars in Aries is gonna bring a lot of fire and a lot of energy coursing through our veins in the next 6 months. So you can channel that fire in a constructive way, or you can burn things up. And we're probably gonna see a little bit of both, or a lot. You might feel like the victim in the next 6 months in a specific area of your chart, but you can either cry about it and moan about it, and I'm gonna tell you folks, we're gonna hear a lot of crying, and we are gonna see a lot of victims coming forward. And it's okay to cry, but the question is, do you sit and do you kind of like maintain that position of victim, or do you take action about it? That is the question. Mars in Aries is also gonna make us want to start out things. It's gonna make us want to initiate things. It's like, you know what, I've had enough. I am absolutely done with this. I want to move forward, and I do not care what you say, because I want to like follow my voice. I want to follow what my ego is saying. I want to be my own individual, so I am going to assert myself. So you want to move forward and you want to start out things, but have you made a plan? Have you thought about how your plan is going to play out in time? Do you have a long-term strategy? Mars in Aries is going to make a lot of people brave, but the key here is to be brave and not to be stupid. Hi, Anna. So, collectively, how is Mars in Aries very likely going to play out in the next 6 months, folks? So until January the 6th, 2021. We might see possible earthquakes and volcanic activity at somewhere in the world till the end of August, I gotta say. We've also got Mars squaring Mercury in Cancer till the 2nd of August. So throughout the rest of July, Mars is squaring Mercury. We might feel this urge. People might feel this urge to fight for what they stand for, to also fight for their home and their perceived security and their roots and your family. And they might actually take very impulsive action based on that. So I do urge caution. I urge you to act from a place of decisiveness, but also empathy. It's important not to lose our humanity in the next 6 months, because we might be like, yeah, I'm the warrior, I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna push through, and you might forget about others in the process. And it's important to maintain our compassion. Now, Mars is also sextiling Venus till the end of July, which is really nice, because we do have quite a bit of July left. It sounds like ideas that are supporting the fight of Mars in Aries, the fight of the warrior. Ideas are coming forward. I also want to say, I know everyone's like waiting for the good news, and I gotta say this: people are gonna be feeling in the mood for fun. Like Venus sextiling Mars is gonna be people feeling in the mood to flirt, to hook up, to have fun, to have sex, to let their passions run free, and get a little bit like of get loose a little bit, you know. And I you know me, I encourage fun. Not that anyone's asking me. I might as well just put it into practice, you know. Now Mars is gonna start to square the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction as of the 24th of July. The Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in the sign of Capricorn since the 24th of July. And as of the 6th of August, Mars is also going to start squaring Saturn. So what we're going to see here, very likely, is the individual trying to fight the establishment. The warrior in the streets, like out into the world, fighting against the elite or trying to push against the elite, or the fight of the people actually being delayed, being faced with obstacles coming from established institutions. People might want to overthrow the establishment, but I don't see the establishment actually falling through that easily. There is a reason why it's called the establishment. So I gotta say, there are a lot of people out there who are fighting the good fight, and there are a lot of like initiatives like worth fighting for, and we will feel this drive to fight for something that we believe in. However, it is important to kind of like adopt a form that is, because otherwise it can backfire in a jiffy, like, you know, like that. Now, since the 4th of August, Mars is going to be trining the Sun in Leo till the 27th of August. The way I see this playing out, folks, is charismatic leaders coming forward. So I'm really curious to see what sort of characters are coming forward in the next month. As of the 20th of August, Mars is going to be in a challenging pattern, a very challenging pattern, in a T-square, with Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn in Capricorn, and also with Venus in Cancer. So from the 20th of August till the 8th of September. Mars is actually the release point for this T-square. So people will very likely feel compelled to take actions because their feelings have been hurt. They feel like the system is not listening to them. And it is important to take action, but as I said, it's important to take action with a long-term plan in mind. You can't just throw yourself into things and hope for the best. I mean, we need that sort of like courage and bravery, but have you made a plan? Do you have a plan? Who's going to take responsibility for the change? Like someone is going to initiate the change and you want to implement it and all of that, but who's going to see it through? You know, questions like this, I think people will need to ask themselves. Since the 19th of September, hi Rich! Since the 19th of September, Mars is going to be in a T-square with the planets in Capricorn, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Mercury in Libra till the 29th of September. So we've got another T-square for another 10 days. September is going to be tough, folks, just to put it out there. All the planets in Capricorn point towards finding a practical solution that make apparently warring parties, so parties who don't seem to have anything in common, meet halfway and come to some sort of like a long-term solution, I would say. Now, since the 23rd of September, Mars is going to be trining Venus in Leo till the 4th of October. I do see this as a time when charismatic leaders, especially women, will come forward, and the nurturing ways of women may shine through in this time frame. We've got in October a cosmic grand cross between Mars in Aries, the Moon in Cancer, the Sun in Libra, and all those three planets in Capricorn, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. The grand cross is going to very likely result in a collapse. There's probably gonna be a collapse, folks, and I'm not gonna lie. We might see the fall of certain world leaders. We might see the fall of certain institutions. A new beginning is imminent, but I'm very curious where it will happen and what it will be. Mars is gonna be opposing Venus in Libra since the 4th of November till the 14th of November. Now, the question is, do I really care about the other person? That's what people are going to have to ask themselves. Is it every man for themselves, or do we still care about partnerships in this time frame? And since the 29th of November, Mars in Aries is going to start squaring Jupiter, Pluto in Capricorn once again until it moves out of Aries. So until it moves out of Aries on the 6th of January. But from the 30th of November, Mars in Aries is also going to start trining. The trine, by the way, is a very smooth, a very beautiful aspect. Mars is going to start trining the sun. So I do see the last month of the year. I do see December, Sagittarius season, coming in with a renewed sense of the big picture, with wisdom, with bringing together opposing parties, with bringing together apparently opposing ideas that may not have much in common. We will be in a much better position to piece things together. And also we will likely be in a much better position to collaborate globally at the end of the year. So in December, because we're now seeing the bigger picture. We are finally seeing the bigger picture, folks. So that seems to be unfolding at a collective level. As I said, we are in for 6 months of fire. So let's talk about how this Mars in Aries transit is likely to play out in your day-to-day life. I do recommend that for this part you listen to both your sun sign and your rising sign, especially if you know what your rising sign is. You might find that the forecast for your rising sign is much more relevant and much more applicable to you. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, so if you are an Aries sun or an Aries rising, Mars is going to be in your sign for the next 6 months in your first house, the house of identity, the house of self, squaring planets in your 10th house of home, in your 10th house of career, opposing your house of home, in your 10th house of reputation, of public status. So you're probably going through a period when the public status and the public reputation that you have built is no longer so much relevant for who you feel you are on an individual level, and you may feel like you've compromised who you are individually in order to achieve this certain position, in order to follow through on this career path. And you know what? You are going to be compelled to fight back and say, this is not authentically me. This is not authentically who I am. So I gotta say, Aries sun and Aries rising, in the next 6 months, you may be in a conflict with people in positions of authority, or you might feel the need to break through from the chains that you feel you are in due to the career path that you have chosen. Take action, Aries. There's no other way around this. If you feel that something is no longer authentically you, take action and break free from it and speak up. But be mindful of other people's perceptions and be mindful of other people's feelings, because you can be like a bulldozer. I do see you like the bulldozer in the next 6 months, Aries. Also very, very careful with accidents and not hurting yourself, not cutting yourself. Patience. You're probably going to be much more impulsive than ever before in the next 6 months. Now, if you are a Taurus sun or a Taurus rising, my lovelies, Mars is going to be in your 12th house, the sector that is associated with staying away from the world, time spent on your own, away from people. It's associated with past lives. It's associated with spirituality. It's associated with reflection. It's also associated with hidden enemies, Taurians. So Mars in the 12th house for the next 6 months is going to be squaring the planets in your 9th house in Capricorn. Gotta say, if you are planning trips abroad, Taurians, they might not play out in the way that you want them to play out. If you had made a certain plan in terms of higher education, again, you might find that there are way more obstacles than you initially envisaged in your path in order to follow through on that. But my recommendation is keep pushing and adjust the plan, literally adjust the plan and make it work in the long term, Taurus. Last but not least, hidden enemies in the 12th house, people that affect your reputation in the next 6 months. So be very careful who you entrust your secrets to. Amber, thank you so much for the super chat. Be very careful, Taurians. I also want to say this. If you feel the need to retreat from the world, if you feel the need to spend more time on your own, honor that, because it's absolutely fine. You are going through a redevelopment, an overhaul of your view of the world, Taurus. So do not be afraid to say no to social obligations. My dear, dear Geminis, Gemini suns and Gemini risings, for the rest of the year, Mars is going to be in your 11th house of friends, long-term plans, dreams, and it's going to be squaring planets in your 8th house. Now, I gotta say this, Geminis. Fights with friends are very, very, very likely. You might also feel a little bit betrayed by at least one of your friends. You might also be kind of like mulling over all your future plans, and it may be giving you anxiety because you don't know which way to go, you don't know what is the right path. And my recommendation is, don't force yourself to make a decision straight away, because the dice have not fallen in the sort of like final kind of like play yet. Also, money holdups may delay your plans, so be prepared to extend your timeline for future plans. Now, if you are a Cancer rising or Cancer sun, I am a Cancer rising myself. For the rest of the year, you may be very much laser focused on advancing your career. And my lovely Cancerians, you haven't had Mars in your corner for a very long time, career-wise. This is the time when you can initiate your business. This is the time when you can step up as a leader, someone who's got like a voice that needs to be listened to. So my recommendation would be, despite the fact that you will have enemies, you will have opponents, you will have people who don't understand where you're coming from, to keep on saying things as they are, and to keep on putting yourself forward in the public sphere, in the career sphere, and in the business sphere. This is like a fabulous time for you Cancerians to start off your own business, if that's something that you want to do. One point though, yes, you will have opponents, especially ones with a more traditional mindset. So do not go out into a rage and a fit because you don't get like a support from people straight away. The challenge here is to follow your own path despite not receiving that much support from others. Even like your committed partners may not necessarily be like 100% on board with what you want to do. And it's up to you to kind of like move forward, people. My lovely Leos, Leo suns and Leo risings. Mars is going to be in your 9th house in the sign of Aries. The 9th house is associated with the higher mind, with long distance travel. It's also associated with our place in society and society at large. And it's also associated with our belief system and our religious, political, and philosophical affiliations. So I gotta say, folks, you might find yourself fighting a lot more for the things that you believe in, for the things that you see as your personal truth. You might find yourself fighting even like a political fight in the next 6 months. And it's very likely that you will fight a lot with coworkers in the next 6 months, my dear Leo. It's also very possible that you'll need to travel quite a bit for work. They can also be health-related trips. I have to say, it's very important to make sure that you do not burn yourself out, because you might burn yourself out. You might drain all your energy in work kind of like related environments. Last but not least, Leo, you are going to be called to be more assertive in the workplace in the next 6 months. Do you have the fire in you? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. I'm just asking rhetorical questions here. My dear Virgos, Virgo suns and Virgo risings, for the rest of this year, Mars is going to be in your 8th house in Aries, squaring planets in your 5th house. Mars in the 8th house means that you're very likely going to be putting a lot of energy into matters that have to do with shared resources. You may be dividing assets with a loved one. You may be dividing assets with a partner. It's also very possible that you may overcome a certain emotional blockage in your romantic relationship in the next 6 months. An emotional or an intimate blockage with a loved one, or because this is also very possible, you might find that the things that you used to enjoy and that used to bring you like fun and pleasure seem to be all of a sudden much more psychologically challenging. Now, if you are a Libra sun or Libra rising, for the rest of this year, you're going to have Mars in the 7th house in Aries, squaring planets in Capricorn in your 4th house. What does this mean? It means that you may have to actively deal with partnership related challenges in the next 6 months, my dear Libra. Or simply, you're going to put a lot more energy into your partnership. It is possible that your partner might require more attention from you. Now, if you are single, I gotta say, if you're single Libras, you may very well meet someone who you are gonna have a fabulous chemistry with in the next 6 months. I do want to raise a flag though. It is possible that you will experience more than usual quarrels in the home in the next 6 months. Hi, Katie. So, Scorpio, if you're a Scorpio sun or a Scorpio rising, for the next 6 months, until January the 6th, Mars is going to be in your 6th house in the sign of Aries, squaring planets in the 3rd house. So Mars in the 6th house means that you are going to have so much work to do in the next 6 months, Scorpio suns and Scorpio risings. So I feel like all your energy is going to go into your work. You're going to be a lot more assertive in your work. You will feel the need to kind of like come forward as a leader in the workplace, and it is possible that you will be misunderstood by colleagues, and because you might have a little less patience than usual. And I gotta say, Scorpios aren't necessarily known for the huge amount of patience that they have. There may be a lot of conflicts with coworkers. Now, I also see the fact that you need to learn to readjust your communication style in the workplace in the next 6 months, because otherwise you won't get any allies. You won't get anyone on board. There's no point in being assertive and being a leader if people don't buy into your strategy. Last but not least, Scorpio, you might also realize that in order to get like a specific job, or you may have gotten a new job, you've got a lot of learning to do. So you are going to put a lot of energy into learning everything that you need to do your job well. Now, my dear Sagittarians, if you're a Sagittarius sun or a Sagittarius rising, for the rest of this year, you are going to have Mars in your 5th house, squaring planets in your 2nd house, in Capricorn. My dear Sagittarians, aren't you going to have a lot of fun in the next 6 months? I gotta say, you're probably like Mars. The Martian energy goes very, very well with your own fire. So my notes here says, for the rest of this year, you will be actively having fun. Now, when are you not actively having fun, Sagittarius? It's also very possible that you may spend way too much money on fun. So I would recommend kind of like a little bit of caution there, a little bit of caution. I know Sagittarians aren't known for their sense of like cautiousness, but I said it anyway. It's a Capricorn and a moon in me talking. It's also very possible that in the next 6 months, a certain romantic relationship will make you reevaluate your values. So what you place emphasis on, what you consider worthy. You may even like have like doubts about your self-worth, or you might be put in a position to fight for what you consider valuable. Last but not least, you may feel like you need to fight for what you consider to be your sense of security, especially financial security in the next 6 months. But all in all, Sagittarians, I see a lot of fun. just to say it. Oh, by the way, if you play the lottery, okay, play it, but like don't overdo it, Sagittarians, because you might be tempted to gamble too much. Capricorns, Capricorn suns and Capricorn risings. So for the rest of this year, I want to flag that you may have a lot of arguments with the family because Mars is going to be in your house of home and family. Or, okay, I don't want to get you in kind of like a bad state of mind. You're also probably gonna be putting a lot of energy into the home place, right? So if you feel like you've got an excess of energy, Capricorn, maybe you can like renovate the house. Maybe you can like spend your energy in a constructive way in the home place. Are squaring all the planets in Capricorn in your house of identity. So you might feel like your family is kind of like questioning you. They're putting a lot of like pressure on your shoulders. They're demanding too much of you. Or on the contrary, you might feel like issues that are unfolding in your family life, and they don't necessarily have to be issues. Like it could be literally someone needs your help in the house more than usual. You might feel like whatever's happening in the home is kind of like delaying your initiatives this year and holding you back. And Capricorn, you know better than anyone else that you need to learn patience. And you are generally patient, but you might feel more impatient than ever in this time frame. My dear Aquarius suns and Aquarius risings, Mars is going to be in your 3rd house of communication, of siblings, of transportation, of sales, of the logical mind, of logical skills, for the next 6 months. So you may be actively focused on learning, picking up new skills. Your mind is going to be incredibly active. And I also see this like as an incredibly productive period for you, my dear Aquarians, because you are going to be able to absorb so much information and so many practical skills in the next 6 months, much more than you've been able to absorb in the past 2 years. You're going to feel like your head is on fire. And I do recommend that you use that fire to do something constructive with it, because if you don't focus all of this fire on something constructive, you might speak fire. You might burn people with your words. So careful there, Aquarius. Don't be don't be the warrior prince or princess, and don't cut people with your words. Okay. It's also very possible that in the next 6 months, you may feel compelled to speak up about issues, and you feel like you can no longer hide something like from people. It's like, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to tell you everything. Be careful what words you choose, peeps. Now, if you are a Pisces sun or Pisces rising, the focus for the next 6 months is going to be Mars going through your 2nd house in Aries. Now, I gotta say, peeps, Pisces risings and Pisces suns, you are gonna be bringing in the cash in the next 6 months, and you're gonna be making money, you're gonna be bringing in money, and you're gonna be spending money. You are gonna be in a very spendy mode for the next 6 months. You're also making a lot of business-related plans, I have to say. You might be investing in your business. You might be investing especially in promoting your business. And I gotta say, on a more spiritual level, I really like this period because it looks like you're gonna feel like you need to fight for your values, fight for what you stand for, fight for receiving the recognition for your own worth. Now, I do want to like bring over like a bit of a red flag here. You may also feel attacked by friends who make you question your self-worth or your values. And it may be very tempting to kind of say, you know what? I'm gonna step away from you. You don't understand me. You don't know what I stand for. But I do urge you to like take a moment to think, because there may be truth in what they're saying. Partial truth, but truth nevertheless. Raquel, yes, I know. That was me. That was the Aquarius and me learning all of these things. So my lovely Pisceans, that's you in the next 6 months. Now, I also want to quickly go through what's happening if Mars in transit is activating some of your personal planets. So, for instance, if it's aspecting either by conjunction, by opposition, by square, by sextile, or by trine. So if it's forming any of these major aspects, Mars in the next 6 months, if it's forming any of these major aspects with your sun, you might feel more alive and more sure of yourself and more sure of who you are and what you want, because the sun is the ego. In the next 6 months, you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go after what I want. I'm gonna push for it, and I'm gonna really show the world who I am. Now, if Mars is activating your moon in any shape or form, you may feel emotionally especially if it's like a square, a conjunction, or an opposition. You may feel a lot more impatient than usual. You may feel a great deal of anxiety also if it's one of the challenging aspects. If it's one of the most the smoother aspects, such as the sextile or the trine, you might feel in a much flirtier mood, I would say. So it is a good time to focus on your one-to-one relationships. Now, if Mars is activating your Venus, your natal Venus in any shape or form, relationships will come to the fore, and you will probably put a lot of energy into them. If there's quarrels, if there's fights, if there's arguments, I would look at the kind of like underlying tension. Is it something that you can talk through? Is it something that you can meet halfway about? If Mars is aspecting your natal Mars, boy, do you have fire in your veins, and are you gonna put like all your effort and fighting energy and survival instinct and power into activating and initiating and like starting off things in that specific area of your chart where Mars is natally placed. Madeline, thank you so much for the super chat. So you're an Aries sun, Sagittarius ascendant, Libra moon. Pretty good, I would say, Madeline. That's because you're gonna be putting a lot of effort and energy into most likely a creative project. It's a fabulous time to also make some room, make some time, make some space to enjoy yourself in the next 6 months, and you're going to feel this drive to assert who you really are and to redefine your identity, and maybe to like build a new identity altogether, Madeline. So I do recommend that you use all of this energy in a creative way, in a way that is kind of like mindful of the things that bring you joy, of the things that bring you pleasure. That would be my approach to this. I love it. Madeline will fight, win the lottery, and get lovey-dovey. Yes, in a nutshell. These apply much more to the rising sign than the sun sign. Absolutely. That's why I always recommend to people that they listen, especially to their rising sign. The way it works is, when we look at transits, when I do a personalized forecast reading, right? So I look at the areas that are highlighted in someone's life in the future. I look at the natal chart and I look at the transits. So the transit superimposed upon the natal chart. The planets transiting, moving right now in the sky over your natal chart. And the natal chart starts off with your ascendant, so with your rising sign. That's why I always say to people, when you listen to your horoscope, first listen to your rising sign, because that's how you do proper personalized forecast readings for the future. And you may feel like the rising sign forecast applies much more and is much more relevant to you than the sun sign one. Hello, Mom. My mom has just joined the YouTube live stream. Dahlia, thank you for the super chat. Cancer Sun, Taurus Moon, Leo Rising. Okay, Dahlia, I gotta say, what are you doing at work? Are you putting energy into work? Are you happy with how things are going at work? If you are not, you have 6 months ahead of you to change things. You've got 6 months ahead of you to like speak up, to say how you view things, how you would likely do things in the workplace. And also, if you want to change jobs or if you want to change careers, this is your time, Dahlia. It might sound like it's crazy because like the economy is like whatever, in tatters or whatnot. Challenging times are times of great opportunity, people. Never forget that. I mean, you probably know this already, but I'm stating the obvious. My dear Georgie, thank you for the super chat. Taurus Sun, Aries Moon, Gemini Rising. Okay, so are you making plans for the future? Are you encountering any sort of like money related issues? Are you thinking of where you can get funding for your future plans? All of that and more seems to be coming to the surface, Georgie. Also, do your friends have any secrets from you? Are you kind of like afraid to discuss about certain topics? Are you likely gonna hear about them keeping something from you? Maybe. Thank you. Thank you, Curdy. Aries Rising and Aries Mars, Stephanie. Woohoo! Fire, what are you planning to do? People, I cannot state this strongly enough. You're gonna be asked to act in the next 6 months. It's important to act constructively, right? It's important to channel the fiery energy in a constructive direction with the long term in mind. Otherwise, as I said, we may resort to like self-destruction. We may resort to kind of like channeling that energy as rage, as anger. And yes, there will be anger, but hell, like anger and rage usually works as a great motivator. So that's why I say use it constructively. You're not happy with something, you're not happy with the status quo, you're not happy with something in your life, change it. What are you gonna do about it? There's no point in crying about it. Take action. Doble, thank you for the super chat. Gemini Sun, Scorpio Moon, Cancer Rising. Okay, Doble A. What are you doing career-wise? I'm very curious. I want to stress how important it is to take action career-wise. Take the initiative. If there's like a certain like big project at work that needs a leader, put yourself forward. If you've wanted to make a change career-wise, put yourself forward again. Make plans for the future, Doble. Where do you see yourself in the future? Visualize your future. And you might be compelled to like act now. And I say act now, and don't be put off by the fact that there may be delays. As I said, the timeline may be a little bit longer than you'd like it to be, but things will play out. So be patient and push for that change work-wise. Bresky, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Leo Rising with a stellium of Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. Whoa, Bresky, like, it doesn't get more Leo than that. I love it. Like, you are probably like a walking, talking sun. Like, and you like probably like radiate sunshine. Cancer, sun, Aquarius, moon, Aries, midheaven. Nice. Okay, so like at some point, Mars is going to be going over your midheaven. Do you want to like take action in your career? Do you want to push yourself to the next level? This is your time. You've got 6 months to do it. You also have the time to put all of your energy into your work because you're going to have a lot of it. And this is the time to initiate things at work. And think about your vision. Think about what you've always wanted to do career-wise and work-wise. What did you want to change? What did you want to implement? Because this is going to be your time to do it. My absolute best wishes, Bresky. Stanley, thank you for the super chat. Taurus sun and Taurus rising, and you've been dealing with those secret enemies. Damn it. I really don't like it when I'm right about that. How do you see Capricorn in the 8th house? Okay. So, if you've got Capricorn in the 8th house, I'm imagining that you're probably using the Placidus house system to look at your chart. So if you have been dealing with those secret enemies, Stanley, I gotta say, there are probably people who you've got some sort of like karmic debt towards. I do want to say this. When we've got the 8th house and the 12th house involved, there's usually not much that we can do on a 3D material level. There is a lot, though, that we can do mentally, psychologically, and spiritually. So it's less about changing the environment around us as it is for many other signs. It's more about how you adjust what's happening in your inner world in order to cope better with what's happening around you. Is there like a certain like belief? Is there like a certain subconscious like paradigm that you've been attached to that kind of like keeps you stuck and attached to these toxic people in your life? If that's the case, you gotta get rid of it, Stanley. I'm telling you. Oh, Mundo Segundo, thank you for the super chat. Sagittarius sun, Gemini ascendant, Virgo moon. Why are you so disorganized? I would blame that Sagittarius sun and that Gemini ascendant who says chaos is creativity. Okay, so with that Gemini ascendant, I gotta say, Mundo Segundo, you probably have like big plans for the future, and you're probably also feeling like, you know what? I've found my people, I've found my tribe, I've also found my cause. I feel like I belong to something, okay? So you're gonna feel part of like something bigger, something, I would say something greater for the next 6 months. And you are going to want to like fight for that something, for that cause, for that plan for the future, for what's coming up in your life. There are some psychological blockages to get over, though. I gotta say, what are your fears? What is holding you back? Are you afraid that if you acknowledge some of your demons out into the open, you're going to be rejected by the people who you consider your tribe? There's only one way to find out, and if like my clients know. When you come to me for readings, I tell them as it is. And there's very few moments when authenticity does not win. In the long run, in the long term, even though it's painful and frustrating short term. So that's the way I see it. Daisy, thank you for the super chat. Does this only affect your Mars? Yours is in Aquarius in the 11th. Your Venus is also in the 11th. in Gemini. Your Mercury is in Gemini in the 11th, Leo rising, Taurus sun, Aries moon. So this my dear Daisy, doesn't have anything to do with your natal Mars, by the way. What I'm referring to right now is transiting Mars. Okay, I better not like move this around. What I'm talking about right now is like transiting Mars in the sky, and what planets it's aspecting in your chart, or what area of your chart it's kind of going through. So as a Leo rising, my dear Daisy, for the rest of this year, it's very likely that you will either need to travel a lot, either with your body or with your mind. You may find yourself out into the world, in society, a lot more, and you may find that you need to defend your truth, what you stand for, what you believe in. And this is especially valid when it comes to the workplace, because your truth and your morals and your values and what you represent may be questioned by colleagues, by people in the workplace. Last but not least, my dear Daisy, you might also feel like compelled to reevaluate your relationship with your body and your health. So if you have any sort of like health related issues, you're going to want to take action in the next 6 months, Daisy. That's the way I see it. And with that Aries moon, you're gonna feel like more combative than ever. It's like, I would say, be very careful not to like become incredibly, because you can become very, very defensive to other people's like opinions and other people's like view of life. So like I just wanted to like put that out there. At the same time, speak up. Speak up if you feel like you need to defend your truth. Defend it. SK, thank you for the super chat. Pisces sun, Aquarius moon, Leo rising. Okay, a lot of activity happening in the work sphere, in the workplace, in the next 6 months, and you're probably no longer okay with the way things are kind of unfolding in your workplace. You might no longer accept people like slacking off. You might become very impatient with your coworkers. You might no longer kind of like accept the fact that you are being delayed from doing your thing and your job and like implementing your vision because of others. I also want to say this, it's a fabulous time in the next 6 months to kind of like jump upon like a very active, healthy bandwagon and actively put energy into improving your health. Thank you people. By the way, quick pause. On Instagram, my lovelies, it looks like Instagram is going to be ending my live in 1 minute 21. But I'm still gonna be live for a few more minutes on YouTube. So if you want to join from Instagram to YouTube, make the jump, because I'm gonna be there. I just wanted to give you like a heads up, because my lives get like cut off because I have so much to say. J-Lo, thank you for the super chat. Chiron and Aries, 24 degrees in the 11th house. Taurus sun, Gemini Ascendant. Okay, J-Lo, like seriously, this is gonna be triggering very much like past life trauma for you. This transit in the next 6 months. Like what are the causes that you believe in? Are you part of like something bigger than just like your own kind of like individuals, like individual aims and objectives? You will probably feel called and compelled to speak on behalf of others, to speak on behalf of a cause that is much bigger than you, and to kind of like express the wounds and the pain that people who you see as your people, as your tribe, as your friends, you might feel compelled to speak on their behalf and express their pain, I gotta say. So that's like one thing. Gemini Ascendant, okay. Again, it's triggering that 11th house. Have you been like reluctant to becoming sort of like that leadership figure in your tribe, in your circle of friends? Or have you been reluctant to starting off your own business, my dear JLo? You might find and you might see that actually the timing is starting to kind of like bubble up and be, I don't want to call it perfect, because it may be it may be anger that motivates you to take the initiative and move forward. Best way to ride the triple Chiron wave. Big lesson. Saturn in the first house, in Cancer at 13 degrees. So people are really pushing your buttons, my dear JLo, and you might find that they are trying to oppress what you stand for, and they are trying to kind of like keep you from asserting yourself, but they're not trying to. It's the type of people that you have been attracting in your life in order to teach you a very important lesson. You can be a different kind of leader. You can be a leader that listens to everyone, a leader that has respect for other people's cultures, a leader that can talk things through. And the lesson here is, if you don't step up and if you don't assert yourself, people may trample over you. And you're gonna feel like, oh, why am I not being listened to? Why am I not being allowed to like express my anger or what upsets me? You can. It's just a matter of mustering up the courage. Curdy, thank you for the super chat. Curdy, did you also send me a question? Yes, you did. Thank you. Virgo rising, Leo sun, Aquarius moon, job, love, relationships, and any other insights. So as a Virgo rising, I gotta say this. You haven't been having a very easy time this year, I want to say, love-wise. And you may have had to reevaluate your relationship to romantic matters in general, my dear Curdy. Your closest romantic relationships may have been challenged and tested. If you are single, if you're not with anyone, it may have felt like despair in regards to your love life and to how things are kind of like playing out. The lesson with all the transits that you've been having in your fifth house this year is the following. In order to experience love, in order to experience joy related to romantic relationships, first you got to overcome those fears. You got to overcome those blockages, and those blockages seem to have something to do with fear of losing control in a relationship, fear of losing part of your individuality in a relationship. And also, if you need something romantically, intimately from someone, no one is going to read your mind or guess that for you. So you're going to have to talk. And you might have to take the initiative, because you might kind of like wait for the other person to like pick up the cues and whatnot, and nothing's happening. And you're like, what the hell? So if something's like bothering you, or if like you've got something on your like mind and in your heart, and you're waiting for someone else to like make the first step, do it yourself. You know what they say, if you want a job to be well done, do it yourself. Phoebe, thank you for the super chat. Okay, Leo sun, Gemini rising, Mars trine Neptune and North Node. Feels like I'm in a limbo. Dun, 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 dun. Gemini rising. Okay, like Mars trining Neptune in the North Node. Phoebe, my dear Phoebe, yes, you may feel like you're in limbo, but are you tuning into your higher self? Are you surrendering to the greater plan that the universe has for you? Because this is all very karmic in nature, what's happening right now, Phoebe. It's like you are asked to kind of like take a step back, go with the flow wherever the flow may take you, rather than trying to control the output and the outcome. Visualize your future, because the next 6 months are very much about your future. Visualize it. Work with sigils. Do journaling. Write down affirmations. And then allow these to like seep into your subconscious by looking at them every day, by activating the sigil, by visualizing yourself in the position that you want to be in the future, and things will start playing out. So this period is less about like actually taking action in the 3D material life, but more about dreaming big. The 11th house is activated for you for the next 6 months. The 11th house is the house of dreaming big. Like where do you want to be? Where would you see yourself? If you kind of like scrapped all the fear and all the things that are holding you back. That is my question. My lovelies, thank you once again for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this for you. Once again, I feel totally energized by the live stream, by this session. I want to before I go, I want to say that next week I am going to be awake. I'm gonna be awake, and I'm also gonna be away. So I'm taking a bit of a little break, and I wanted to let you know about it. So there will be no live stream next week, but 2 weeks from now, I'm going to come back. And in the meantime, if you are interested in a forecast, of personalized yearly forecast for the year ahead, please feel free to get in touch with me through my website. We can look together at your transits, at your progressions, at your solar return chart. And this type of forecast is the most accurate because it's based on your natal chart. So we are looking specifically at what parts of your chart are activated, what planets, what energies, how they manifest and how they interact with each other. And we can paint a much, much broader picture. And also, I want to thank all of those who have gotten in touch with me. And I know, like, my time of wait for readings is a little bit longer now, but I am getting them done. As I said, I'm taking a bit of a break next week, but you can still get in touch with me, and you will still get your readings very, very soon. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Trildy. Oh, I missed a chat. Which one? People, tell me. 253 super chat. Whoever's sent me a chat, can they send me the chat again, please? I'm so sorry if I missed it. The colorful vegan. Oh my gosh. Yes, thank you. People, thank you so much. Capricorn rising, Libra sun in the 9th house, as well as Mercury and Venus in Libra in the 9th house. Taurus moon 4th house. You're 29. Your solar return. Oh my days. Okay, so my dear colorful vegan, thank you for your patience, and thank you for the super chat as well. So for the solar return chart, we actually have to look at a specific solar return based off of the city where you spent your birthday this year, or where you spent the most recent birthday. So I can't do that like through the live, but I can do that if you get in touch with me through my website. And that's one of the charts that I look for the yearly forecast. Now with your Capricorn rising, my dear colorful vegan, I gotta say, there seems to be a lot of energy that you will be required to put into your house of home and family and residence. Are you gonna move in the next? Are you gonna move in the next 6 months? Are you going to be required to kind of like renovate or do something around the house? You may feel like there's already a lot of pressure on yourself, and I have to say, you've just gone, and like this period is ending for you in mid-December. You've just gone through your Saturn return, and you've got a little bit left. So you have changed your identity, you've transformed your identity, you are coming out of this like stronger and more mature and more responsible. And you might feel like, okay, I'm ready for it. Job done, moving forward. But actually, someone in your family probably needs your help, or you realize that you need, in order to like fully step into who you are now, you need to change your home situation, your residence situation. Mercury, Venus, and Libra are in the 9th house. I see. So to me, it seems like you are no longer okay with something that's happening in your home life. You're not okay from like a mental perspective. The question is, what are you gonna do in order to change a situation that you are no longer happy with? That is up to you. And it could be a situation that you're like, you know what, I'm comfortable here. I've been here for such a long time, but comfort and staying in the comfort zone does not equal progress, does not equal evolution. So that's it. Okay, so you're renovating your whole house now. There you go. So that's where the energy is going. It can become frustrating at times. You may feel tired, you may feel a little bit exhausted, but you can do it. You've got it. You got this. Okay, folks. Thank you for staying around, and thank you so much for like flagging that I've missed the super chat. Like, oh my days. Really, really appreciate it. Once again, it's been a pleasure to do this for you. I will be back 2 weeks from now. Next week, no video. I'm taking a break. I am taking a little bit of a holiday. But you can still get in touch with me through my website to purchase readings, and these are going to be sent to you as I usually send them in an audio recorded format. Sending you so much love, people. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Trilogy. Thank you, CJ. Love you guys.